if you're listening and watching and you're an atheist and you don't care about those things, you don't even believe they're relevant, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here, because the fundamental thing here is believing that you are loved. The rest of the stuff will follow, but I think a lot of people are carrying around a wound that has probably been created by people who called themselves Christians, but were actually, again, worshiping the Holy Trinity of themselves, and they just use their Christianity or their cross necklace as a blunt instrument to try and win popularity and fame. And I mean, I'll be honest, I was that high schooler who thought I was a good kid, and that's why girls should like me. And the truth is, in my head, I was no different than any other guy. And I look back on some of the things I said and did, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was a hot mess. But when you believe that you are loved and provided for, everything changes. And just a quick anecdote about this: my son, Samuel, who I love to tears, was a very difficult baby, very difficult, didn't want to be held, never wanted to eat anything, just incredibly fussy. Everything was a fight. And he wouldn't let me hold him. So I'd be trying to hold my child and he would push against my chest with his feet. And for a newborn, he was strong. He had some good, strong legs. And there were many times I'm like, dude, why are you trying to like kill yourself by jumping out of my arms? And it wasn't until he was about 9 months old where he'd gone through some kind of tantrum and just wore himself out. I was holding him, and he finally, for the first time in his life at 9 months, laid his head on my shoulder and rested and let me, as his father, provide for him. Because that's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do, was just hold my son and show him that I loved him. But he wouldn't let me, because darn it, he's going to do it his way. He's going to figure it out, little 6-month-old. And I realized something in that moment. And I'm like, oh, this is what God wants to do with me. Yeah. He doesn't want me to perform. He doesn't want me to check any boxes. He doesn't want me to say anything. He wants me to lie in his arms and put my head on his shoulder and shut up for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the application for our listeners is this: if you're not satisfied with where you are with your finances, do whatever it takes. If it's kicking and screaming, if it's you putting that pillow over your head and just screaming into it, or if you have the ability like us here in the Tennessee area, or you could go to the mountain and just scream your head off, or go to a shooting range and take a 1,000 rounds or whatever to get all that energy out. But you have to act and come to the point where you surrender. It's really difficult for a lot of people to surrender who I am and my beliefs. If your ego is so big, you're going to continue to do what you've always done, and you're going to continue to get the results that you've always gotten. If you surrender, that picture that you gave us, David, is incredible, of you wanting to do good and the best for your son, and he couldn't see that for whatever reason, until and the picture of him laying his head on your shoulder and finally going, I can breathe.
Yes.
I can make this happen. Most people aren't there with their finances. Can you breathe? Can you say that you have enough? Can you know that you're, putting it towards a good cause? Are you making a difference? Are you happy? Is your anxiety going down because you understand you got a good grip on it? Does it all come together for your health and your well-being, your relationships and your finances? That pillar, that tripod of how you are connected, you're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better spouse, parent, child. You're going to be better all the way around when you really just surrender this and just understand that, surrendering doesn't mean that you're that level 1 finance. Surrendering is level 1, level 2, and level 3. Because remember, we can do so much. Now, I could just imagine some of our clients and the connection that we have with Denzel, Rodriguez. He's probably dealing with people that make $200,000-$300,000 a year, and some people would think, oh, they don't have any issues. Sometimes the bigger the money, the more problems they have. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a matter of knowing, where to place that trust.
Your boy Puff Daddy made that clear back in the late 90s. And Biggie.
That's right.